Embark on a captivating exploration of the dynamic realm of liquid assets, the lifeblood of transactions and economic vitality. Beyond its role as a mere medium of exchange, money emerges as a vibrant channel, facilitating seamless communication between individuals and their prized possessions. Acting as both a meticulous record keeper and a steadfast guardian of value, money transcends its utilitarian origins. In the pre-currency era, economies navigated the complexities of bartering, demanding a double coincidence of desires for successful transactions. Enter money, the ultimate problem solver, breaking down barriers and serving as the indispensable intermediary good that transforms economic landscapes. Join us on this enlightening journey through the evolution of money, unraveling its pivotal role in shaping our daily lives. Stay tuned for more insights into the world of finance, and ensure you subscribe to our channel for a front-row seat to the unfolding narrative of economic evolution. The monopoly of wealth. Just 1% of the whole population possesses an excessive amount of money, and a tenth of that 1% has nearly all of it. Correct. Accordingly, I believe that the wealthiest 100 individuals on the planet own as much wealth as the poorest 2.5 billion. And you consider that to be a very bad thing. And maybe it is. However, you must realize that the law controls how creative output is distributed throughout all creative fields, correct? It resembles a law of nature, and we will discuss that further. However, consider what occurs when you play Monopoly. All of you have played Monopoly. What takes place during a game of Monopoly? All the money eventually belongs to one person. Everything is fine. After that, you play Monopoly once more. What takes place? All the money eventually belongs to one person. It's essentially the unavoidable result of numerous haphazardly executed trades. Thus, if 1,000 people are divided into groups of 10 or 20 and given $100 or $10 each, they will each have to play a trading game in which they must flip a coin to exchange goods with another player. In the coin toss, I win, I offer you $1, you win, and I give you mine. One person will win all the money and everyone else will have nothing if we all play for that long. It's a deeply ingrained aspect of creative production systems, and nobody really understands how to address it since, naturally, there's a risk that all the resources would flow to a small number of individuals at the top, while a large portion of the population will stack up at zero. However, to attribute that to the repressive features of a particular system is to drastically underestimate how complicated the issue is. The majority has nearly little, and no one really knows how to consistently transfer resources from the minority, which controls practically everything, to the majority, which has almost nothing. Because money tends to move back up the moment you shovel it down. It is also a serious issue. The thing you should realize, though, about the 1% problem you hear so much about is that it affects all fields in which there is a variance in creative output. It makes no difference what the quantity of compositions written, the quantity of records sold, or the quantity of recordings made are. Classical repertoire, economic disparities. So, this is one instance. The music that makes up half of the classical repertoire is composed by 5 composers, correct? Tchaikovsky, Mozart, Beethoven, Brahms, and Bach. That's accurate. The quintet. Thus, wall scaling is another illustration of this pricing. It covers a wide range of topics, similar to how the amount of goals scored in hockey is spread. City sizes are distributed similarly. People frequently discuss how unjust it is that 1% of the population controls the majority of the money, with 1% of the 1% controlling the majority of that money, and 1% of the 1% of the 1% controlling the majority of that money. However, this is an inevitable outcome of trade games that are repeated, and we have no idea how to combat it. We have no idea how to take from the privileged and elevate it to the bottom without rising to the top again in an instant. Perhaps different people, but they will still rise to the top because even the top 1% fluctuates a lot. As in, I estimate that you have 10% probability. According to what I recall, you have a 10% chance of finishing in the top 1% and a 40% probability of finishing in the top 10% for at least a year in your life. That is in both the US and Canada. There is a significant amount of churning at the top end because there is less so in Europe. Tragic consequences of collectivization. In any case, the reason I'm telling you this is because after receiving their land and beginning to farm, a very small percentage of the peasants achieved great success. And it was thanks to them that nearly all of Russia's and the Ukraine's food was produced. When bloodthirsty Lenin came along and collectivized the farms in the 1920s, what happened was that they defined the kulaks, these very few prosperous farmers who might have owned a brick house, been able to employ a few people, owned some land, some livestock, and were extremely productive. They characterized them as components that are not sociable. To collectivize the farms, they also dispatched groups of intelligentsia into the towns. The aim was to pool your land and cultivate it together, but naturally the land was taken away from the small number of people who were truly productive and had succeeded in acquiring a large portion of the land. Thus, you have to envision how it might happen. Alright, so the 1920s are following World War I. Russia is not doing very well. There are many males in the villages who have suffered abuse and suffer from post-traumatic stress disorder, along with many others who are not doing well at all. And the bloodthirsty intellectuals enter the town and say, you know those prosperous farmers across the street of whom you've always been, in your pointless way, fairly jealous? In reality, though, they are thieves, pigs, and demons taking advantage of you. Thus, why don't you emerge? We're going to organize into a lovely little mob and steal whatever they have. And that's precisely what took place. And in the middle of the brutal winter, when there was nothing at all for them to eat or anywhere to dwell, all those people were either slaughtered, raped, or sent to Siberia. Consequently, they were all killed. And as a result, 6 million people in Ukraine starved to death a few years later. Thus, the concept of guilt based on class and ethnicity was really introduced and refined by the Soviets. And walking down the road is a very poor idea. We're currently highly involved in this conversation because it centers on the idea of, say, race or ethnicity-based guilt, which is being discussed all around North America. To declare a group of people guilty of anything just because they belong to the same group is a really stupid concept. Navigating the complexity of success. High IQ and conscientiousness are highly valued in today's culture, as they help overcome randomness and make individuals more likely to succeed financially. However, it is important to consider other factors such as health, relationships, and the cost of becoming wealthy. People often believe that inability to pay bills leads to poverty, but managing money is difficult and not everyone benefits equally. An example of this is an addict who received a disability check but ended up in a ditch with his friends, spending every penny on alcohol. This experience led to guilt, horror, and repentance, ultimately leading to a broken life. Not everyone benefits equally from having money, and managing finances is difficult, especially for older people who are struggling due to scammers on the internet. Having a low IQ can also contribute to poverty, as people find the idea of having a high IQ to be arbitrary and unworthy. High IQ individuals can be made stupider by not educating them to their potential. As our culture becomes more advanced, it is not evident that there are enormous gaps in people's abilities that are far more than anyone understands. For example, finding a volunteer job can be more challenging than getting a real job, as you require a police check. For example, a volunteer at a nonprofit had to fold paper letters into envelopes, match the appropriate envelopes, and determine if missing letters or papers were the cause of anomalies. Additionally, folding photos affixed to letters was challenging, and the IQ of the individual was likely A. In conclusion, while high IQ and conscientiousness are highly valued in today's culture, it is important to consider other factors when evaluating someone's success. And there you have it, explorers of economic landscapes. We've delved deep into the intricate world of money, from its historical evolution to the challenges of wealth distribution and the tragic consequences of collectivization. If you found this journey through the complex tapestry of finance enlightening, and don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Stay tuned for more insights into the dynamic realm of economics, where every transaction tells a story and every financial decision shape our world. Share your thoughts in the comments below. What aspect of money's evolution surprised you the most? Your engagement keeps the conversation flowing.